Hello, I am Moe Thuzar. I am a research fellow at the ISEAS-Yusof Ishak Institute, which was formerly known as the Institute for Southeast Asian Studies in Singapore. I am from Myanmar. 2010, I think people were quite cynical. And I do remember that among the young people of voting age in 2010, there was apathy because they had no basis of comparison. And of course, they had grown up, I think, in a time when you don't have, or you're told not to kind of be too different. So whether you were in the civil service, whether you were in the military, I guess this tall poppy syndrome of not being different, I think, was very much how I guess how should I put it? It was very much a part of how people went about their daily lives. They just didn't want to, I guess, quote unquote, get into trouble. Again, also in the civil service, there's a saying since the socialist times about do nothing, don't get mixed up in anything, and then you don't lose your position, kind of mindset going on. But anyway, in 2010, I think the cynicism was that people felt that the military junta had broken trust in 1990, I mean, broken promise, and therefore betrayed trust in 1990. Then, because it had kind of ran through the constitution in 2008, where the whole constitutional drafting process had also been fraught with a lot of discussions about the role of the military in the country's political future and all of that. So there was this atmosphere of cynicism, and people, of course, knew that the National League for Democracy was boycotting the 2010 polls because they felt that it wasn't going to be free or fair. But there were political parties and political factions that felt that you kind of need to be in the system to fight the system, in the sense that you need to participate in this process to be able to take on that political process and kind of meet them on the political battleground, so to speak. And so there were parties registering to compete in the elections. And of course, the military-backed party was the Union Solidarity and Development Party, or the USDP, which ended up garnering a very high number of the votes. But there were a lot of us, myself included, who felt that you've got this power to exercise. It's meaningful, and your vote has value, and therefore we should not be apathetic or cynical, but exercise it to the best we can to know at least in our conscience clearly that we had tried to vote for change. I think that was what took a lot of us by surprise. It took the world by surprise as well. Of course, I think there was this interest to go through a political transition and followed by economic and administrative reforms. But I don't think any of us expected the kind of rapidity and the extent or the range in which these would take place. So I think one lesson I learned from that is whatever the system, I think it's the person that counts. It's the commitment that counts as well. So I think because of that, with all its flaws and shortcomings, the USDP government term did put down important cornerstones for opening up the political process to the then opposition party, the NLD, and essentially facilitated through some of the political and administrative reforms the return of the NLD into the political process.